Let's go to London. Yesterday morning, Los Angeles Rams 35-7 over the Jags. Rams moved to 5-2. Jags fall to 4-3. Second straight loss for them. Pretty dominant performance here for the Rams. And it started early. They were going for it on fourth down, converting those fourth downs. And that was not the difference in the game, but that was a big difference in the game, converting early on, not settling for field goals. Matthew Stafford with 5 touchdown passes on just 182 passing yards.
Yeah, they went for 4th and 3 in the opening drive. Could have been a very different game, I guess, if they didn't get that. Wet conditions, very London, right? Like very London.
That's what I thought we were going to see from Ireland and England the last couple days.
Yeah, miserable looking. Everyone on the sideline in their Rams, rain jackets and stuff. It's just the most London-looking game you're going to find. The Rams went out there and absolutely really took it to Jacksonville. Was this back-to-back games where Lawrence is sacked 7 times?
It was 6 or 7 last week against Seattle.
Yeah.
7 this week.
Right. And that was, one of the questions coming into this game is, look, that was alarming from a Jacksonville perspective. The Seattle defense, which is really good, absolutely took it to them. You watch the sort of reel of the sacks. It's not like any one thing. It was a variety of different things. All of them caused them problems. And you're like, okay, the Rams have a different defense, but they can do all of the same things that caused problems a week ago. Can Jacksonville show that was just a one-off? Generally, this offensive line is not that bad. And it was the same story, really. Again, the Rams' defense was absolutely destroying them. They tore into the Jacksonville offensive line, and then their offense was still fine without Puka Nacua.
Yeah, from the Rams' perspective, this was like the complete opposite of the game that they had played the rest of the season. The rest of the season, it was like, man, Stafford's got 350 yards, and then they get into the red zone and they die out, and they just, where are all the points? In this one, Stafford 21 of 33 for 182, just 5.5 yards per attempt, and then the 5 touchdowns. Because every time they got into the red zone, a couple fades to Devontae Adams. They had another fourth down that they went for later in the game. Terrence Ferguson touchdown. They're up 28-0, and it was pretty much over early in the second half this game.
Yeah.
And what you mentioned with Trevor Lawrence getting sacked 7 times, you're absolutely right. It was like there was some quick pressure. Every time he faced quick pressure, it was like he stepped up into a sack. Like the very first play of the game, Braden Fisk is in the backfield, and then Jared Verse is cleaning it up. So the Rams were getting some quick pressure. Lawrence not anywhere to go, and then there's other times he's just holding the ball. There's just a lack of consistency and rhythm on this Jags offense. And, I was trying to position that a few weeks ago as like, hey, I think we'll see better from Trevor Lawrence. I think we'll see better from Brian Thomas Jr. At some point this will get better. But instead, it was like the Jags just ran out of all the turnover luck. They didn't we also said that, like, it's tough for them to force 3 turnovers per game as they were the first 4 weeks of the season. As that's died down, the defense doesn't look as good, and this offense completely lost rhythm these last couple weeks here.
Well, that's the thing. I think you're seeing not only we kind of flag, look, that was an unrealistic level of turnovers for this defense, but I think what you're seeing is how important or how much those turnovers were hiding everything else on the defense. Like the defense, if it doesn't get a bunch of turnovers in a game, just doesn't look good. Jordan Lewis at corner was getting absolutely barbecued in this game. He had defensive pass interference. He gave up a touchdown. Like, just general coverage was all over the place. He got defensive pass interference and a face mask penalty on the same play, which is the one instance where it's like, we're just going to double down on it. So it's a spot foul, which is already harsh in a lot of people's eyes. Like, man, that's a 50-yard penalty, whatever. That's, the punishment doesn't fit the crime. Well, what if I tacked on 15 for the same play? Like, it's not a different foul. It's just the way that he interfered was via the face mask. So we're going to tack on another 15 on top of what's already a harsh penalty. He got absolutely roasted on the back end. The Rams are spreading the ball everywhere, but this defense had no answers for anything they were doing.
Hey guys, real quick, only 40% of our viewers are actually subscribed, so let's change that. Hit that subscribe button, and now let's get back to the action. Yeah, so impressive, dominant game from the Rams. The stat line's nice for Travis Hunter on the other side. He did get in the end zone, 34-yard touchdown, pretty late, 8 catches for 101. But, man, I don't know what the answers are there for the Jags offense. They have dudes to throw to. Lawrence was never in rhythm against this combination of the Rams pass rush and coverage on the back end.
Yeah, it's everybody, though. It's weird. I mean, the offense and the offensive line in the last couple of weeks has completely imploded. Trevor Lawrence remains inconsistent, frustrating, something missing. Brian Thomas Jr. had a brutal game, and then had
another drop over the middle, right?
Yeah, another drop. Had this weird-looking injury in garbage time where, like, the guy is just engaging him at the line, and he's like, oh, suddenly my shoulder's, like, falling out of its socket. You're like, what? I do not, for any stretch, imagine that this is a victory lap, because this would make me wrong twice as opposed to right originally. But somebody tagged me in a Marcus Whitman post, that franchise guy on YouTube, and he's also on Twitter, where he compared, he asked the question whether Brian Thomas Jr. is just Marquez Valdes-Scantling. I'm like, I don't want that to be true anymore, because I came off that take and actually loved the guy after his rookie season, but now he's playing like Marquez Valdes-Scantling, and that's kind of frustrating.
Yeah, I mean, for those who are just tuning in, Sam and I were both lower on Brian Thomas Jr. coming out of the draft.
Yeah.
Both watched him last year and said, okay, this is a superstar. He's right up there with Malik Neighbors in this draft class and what we think Marvin Harrison Jr. or Rome Odunze could become. But clearly, BTJ and Malik Neighbors were the top two rookie receivers last year. And now BTJ, everything's off this year between him and Trevor Lawrence. But he's I saw our old friend Tage too talking about it's like negative 17 EPA targeting him
like
over
probably terrible,
but like over the middle in particular with Brian Thomas.
And this is why I don't think this is real at the moment. Number one, we've seen it better than this last year, right? And number two, I think Marvin Harrison Jr. is a good example of how quickly things can turn around. I mean, Harrison made one play in the end zone, suddenly he looks fixed, right? Brian Thomas Jr. may just be absolutely cratering in terms of confidence right now. And if you give him one big play, and he is only ever one snap away from one big play, the type of player he is, maybe it all comes back in a heartbeat. But right now, this combination of Trevor Lawrence and Brian Thomas Jr. is utterly miserable. Like, nothing is working there.
Rams move to 5-2. As I said, the Jags lose back-to-back games now against the NFC West.
Lastly, the Rams did an interesting thing for this game. It's a London game. Usually you see teams, I mean, the Jags were there like for the entire week. Usually you see teams try and extend as much as possible how much they're in London to adjust with the jet lag, et cetera. The Rams flew in the day before, late the day before. So, and the Rams obviously a West Coast team. You're like, that's crazy. As Ben Stockwell pointed out to me, because they stayed East Coast last week, so they played last week on the East Coast, they stayed in Baltimore, I think, for the entire week, and then flew out. Because they'd essentially adjusted to East Coast time, relative to a West Coast team going to the East Coast for a 1 p.m. game, right? That's like a 10 p.m. kickoff for those guys.
3-hour difference.
Right. So West Coast time, that's like a 10 a.m., kickoff for them. This was a 9:30 a.m. kickoff for an East Coast team. So relatively speaking, it's only half an hour off from the standard adjustment that a West Coast team has to make moving East Coast. So it's a case where my initial reaction is, that's crazy. There's no way that's the optimal way of doing that. And then the more you think about that, the more you think, actually, that might be the smartest thing to do. The Rams, remember, are one of those teams that tend to be the team that pioneers something different. Like, they were the first team to stop playing everybody in preseason. Now, maybe that went too far and we're moving in the opposite direction. But this might be a case where, your initial reaction is, that's ridiculous. There's no way that's smart. And then, actually, that might be by far the most sensible way of doing this.
It's only one game, but I could see teams, if you want to limit as much time as possible in England, and maybe that's the way to go.
I mean, with the greatest will in the world, the setup in England, where you do have to schlep out to the countryside and you're set up in a manor house or whatever they do everywhere, that is quite far away from most NFL teams' setups when they're on the road, right? So actually, the less you have to do that, the smarter that may be.
The last thing I just wanted to mention here, we didn't really mention it on the preview, but Liam Cohen, head coach for the Jags, James Gladstone, GM for the Jags, both former Rams guys, had that bit of a reunion. Looked like the Rams were throwing the ball late and, racking up the last touchdown there. So just, I don't know if they were beating up on their buddies just a little bit.
Sticking the boot in?
Yeah, just a little bit, maybe.
How dare
they? That doesn't happen in the NFL. There's none of this running it up, but emphatic win for the Rams, 35-7.
Thanks for watching all the way to the end of the video.
Check the Mic is live every Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so be sure to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a thing.
And the all-knowing algorithm is convinced you'll also like these videos, and who are we to argue?